Good evening and welcome, or good afternoon and welcome to the Terry McGriff Show. This week's episode, gonna have another good week. It was been some, a very long week. I think we're recording this today and just trying to get everything done so we can have you guys a nice show. Andre, my illustrious co-host, how you doing, Mr. Andre L. Sullivan?
I'm still here making it.
I feel you, man. You still waiting on that Bugatti too.
I am.
I heard somebody won both of those big lotteries that they had. It wasn't us, so I guess we still recording this show and we out there working on the job. So, but anyway, what we're going to talk about, we're going to do some, change it up. We're getting ready to talk about some people that dear to my heart. I want to do a quick little tribute to the great Hank Aaron, one of the pioneers in sports, some of the stuff he had to go through in his quest to break the home run record at the time, at the time. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about, just review the conference championships of the NFL, who made it to the Super Bowl, to go back and review those, what we talked about in that. Then we'll talk about, I want to talk about, another little bit of history. And then once again, things are progressing in our country. We'll have 4 black coordinators in the Super Bowl. We're going to discuss them. And then also going to discuss that we'll have 3 women that once again participating in this year's Super Bowl. So we want to just talk about those things, let people know, give those people a little bit of time and some press and honor their accomplishments. So let's get to it. Let's first thing I want to talk about is the great Hank Aaron passed away this past week. And I was a big baseball fan at the time. And, when he was going through all of that stuff that he went through a lot of trials on this, a lot of hate mail, a lot of, people, they wanted to change the rules so that he couldn't actually break the record and become the home run king. And he was one of those people, not only did he have to play and excel at the sport, he had to be a great humanitarian and a great human being just to endure all the stuff you get through without actually, lashing out at the public and at all the people who was hating on him, so he did a lot that really furthered the sport and furthered where other black people can come along and get their accomplishments. Now these guys are making huge sums of money, and, he was one of those people, as far as black people had to go through. He went through a lot so that he paved the way for a lot of other black young men in all sports, not just baseball, could be able to live the lifestyle and thrive and have those platforms that they have now to be able to speak out, because back then he couldn't speak out. You want to get your thoughts on that?
I mean, my whole thing about legends like Hank Aaron, Jackie Robinson, Muhammad Ali in our sports realm, I want people that look like us to stop praising them because they were black and they did it. Mm-hmm. I need them to start praising them because simply they did it. Mm-hmm. And that's, if I can go on a spill about that all day, and I won't get on my rant, but like give Hank Aaron his roses because he was Hank Aaron. Mm-hmm. Let's take away the part that he was a man of color and he was black and he did it in the midst of all of that. Mm-hmm. He did it. Period. Because if we were talking about Mark McGuire, we were talking about Babe Ruth, we wouldn't be talking about they did it. They were the white man that did it. They would just say he did it. Mm-hmm. And that's the way we got to start looking. We as people of color got to start looking as our heroes as doing the same way. Mm-hmm. The only reason we don't look at the Black Panther and say, oh, he was black and he was a Panther. We just say he's the Black Panther. Period. Mm-hmm. And that's how we got to start addressing them as the superheroes that they are. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about Hank Aaron, 25 All-Star appearances. Like he did that. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? 3-time Gold Glove award winner, 2-time National League batting champion, a 4-time National League home run leader, a 4-time National League RBI leader. You know, but I keep telling you, look, screw the part that he was black,
Mm-hmm.
because there's no such thing as colored bats.
Mm-hmm.
There's a baseball. There's there's a mound. There's a home base, 3 bases, and a whole bunch of green grass outside there. And you know, I'm not saying all of that to diminish the barriers that he broke down in the ceilings that he basically shattered. What I'm saying is, we lost a legend. Period. We didn't lose a black legend. We didn't lose a baseball, quote unquote. We lost a legend, and that's what we have to start getting to.
No, I love that you said that, and that's what makes me gave had to say what I need to do, because people who did do endured that is in my generation in front of me. Now the generation after me, such as yourself, can have that thought right there. He did it because he did it, not color. And to thank God that we're actually, that's what kind of this show is all about. We're actually getting to that point where people are not really thinking about that now. I mean, you can talk it about, because of him, now they don't say Pat Mahomes is the black quarterback going repeating this quarterback against the GOAT, because of people and that's why I'm thinking, that's why I wanted to pay tribute to people like him, because what he went through, and he didn't make color an issue. He just handled it. You get what I'm saying? But he did go. I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge what he went through for the generations that now really thriving on the decisions and the character of this man. So I just wanted to make sure we gave him his roses, even though he's gone now. But I wanted to make sure I honored him on this show, because we really appreciate people like him giving us this platform, because we can do what we do now and other stuff like that, and we don't have to be two black guys on this podcast giving a show. No, we just two guys doing the show. So good thing. Pat Mahomes is just a kid out there blowing up the football field, setting all kind of records. And we also talking about people like in when we're talking about the conferences, we'll talk about these guys, those coordinators that now have those opportunities. I mean, Eric Bieniemy, once again, you know, he didn't get a job this time around, but everybody knows he's deserving of a job. But I think he's picking and choosing the right one that's best for him. So good for him. So I said, once they just giving my condolences to the family, the Hank Aaron family, and all the Milwaukee Brewers and the Atlanta Braves, all those people that suffering through that loss right now, knowing that they lost such a great icon, and sports has lost a great icon. So I just wanted to say my condolences and the best for the family, and pieces and prayers to all of them. So let's go on to a little bit brighter thing here. We went through last week, watched those good championship games for the most part. I mean, Buffalo and Kansas City got out of hand, but a little bit there. But I thought the NFC Championship was everything we thought it was going to be. I didn't see the pass rush getting to Aaron Rodgers as much as it did, but they literally in the second half won that game for Tampa Bay. The offense set them up in the first half, and the defense actually won the championship for them in the second half by getting all those pressures. After Brady had probably his worst half of football that I've seen him have in a while. He threw three straight interceptions on 3 straight drives in the second half. So good thing that they did come out in the third quarter and get the other score to give them a two score lead. But the defense really stepped up. JPP and that defensive front really did a good job of holding Aaron Rodgers and them down in the second half to keep them from coming back and winning that game. So I really want to say congratulations to the Buccaneers. They also set history being the first team to be able to play a Super Bowl in their home city. So I think that was a little bit of their motivation. One of the things, again, they had so many guys with so much experience on that team playing in the Super Bowl, gave them a little bit of the edge. I won't even say it was the difference, but I think that having that experience, especially on the defensive end, they were able to see how important was this to get those stops in Green Bay, to able to keep Aaron Rodgers and all those guys out of the end zone as many times as they did to win that game. And then they got that stop on which I thought was a bad decision by LaFleur by not going for it on fourth down. I think you shouldn't have took the ball out of the hands of the MVP and put it in the kicker. Hey, go let him get that thing. Go let them win this game. But, and it came back to bite them because they never got the ball back,
Here's the thing. I said in last week's episode, if Tampa can force Aaron Rodgers to try to be a superhero, the Green Bay Packers would lose this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened. Of course, you got Jones. They held Jones to 6 carries and 27 yards on the ground. If you force Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball 1 million times, that's how you beat Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a shot at Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's still Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's the league MVP personally, but I just feel like Aaron Rodgers gets out of hand when Aaron Rodgers tries to play outside of Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was this offseason that get him any weapons. You didn't need him. You needed to turn around and hand the ball off a couple of times. And I don't think he himself at times, whether it be bravado or hubris, understands that. And so when you get down to it, that's what it was. Now, granted, Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? This is his 4th game doing that in a playoff game. And all 4 games he won. And so, listen, there's a couple of guarantees. There's only one guarantee in football. A game's going to be played. That's the only guarantee. But there are a few things that we can bet on in sports. One, LeBron going to get a good dunk. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. 2, the Yankees probably going to be in the mix when it's time to talk about the penny. And 3, I don't care how many picks Tom Brady throw. Let him keep throwing the ball. I'm sorry. I don't care what nobody say. That man could have went out there and threw 8 picks. I would have, if I was Byron Leftwich, I would have went right there into the radio. Keep throwing. And so, listen, and you saw it out of him yesterday. Some quarterbacks, they throw a pick, they're down for the rest of the game. Tom a pick, cool. I'm gonna get the ball back. It's fine, that's why he's the GOAT. That's why he is who he is, and so kudos to him and his team. A huge shout out to the ballhead homie Leonard Fournette. 12 carries and 55 yards and a touchdown, man. Hey, playoff Lenny is a real thing. I hope Mike Evans shows up in the Super Bowl. Right. I hope Mike Evans shows up in the Super Bowl because I don't know where he was last Sunday.
He scored the first touchdown.
Yeah. And then he left the game. Cool. And I mean mentally, because after that it was a drop pass every time it got thrown to him. But my point is, Tom can be Tom in any situation. Aaron cannot be Aaron. But that's just the NFC.
Well, I tell you though, the thing what I really found impressive, like I said, the defense that made the adjustments. First of all, to shut down the Green Bay running game, which puts the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hand and makes Aaron Rodgers do things outside of what he needs to do, was the key to the game. And Ndamukong Suh he was a load. And Vita Veda coming back, I understand why they brought him back, because he was, it reminded me of the 2000 Ravens teams when you had Vita Veda up there with Ndamukong Suh. The 2000 Ravens team, they had the 2 big guys, Sam Adams and Saragusa. You were not moving anywhere inside of the tackles. You could forget it. They were so strong on the inside. You had to block them with 2 guys. So that freed up the 2 ends for the Bucs in this game to be able to just do whatever they wanted to do. You can tell when JPP was in the big game because he affected everything that Green Bay did offensively. When he took his breaks, Green Bay made some plays. But when he was in the game, along with I can't think of the other guy name, the other end who made they combined for 5 sacks and probably about another 6 pressures on Aaron Rodgers. They moved him around in the pocket, and he wasn't able to get the things to do. He only plays he made was stuff he made all out off script. He was able to get open, make his normal stuff, and get a couple of plays down there. Another ex-Jaguar, which we were stupid enough to let go, Alan Zazard, was able to make some plays because 6'5" guys do what 6'5" guys do when you give them a little bit of extra time. And that's the other thing. I don't even want to get into that, but I will make just the analogy of being a Jaguar fan, watching in that game how many ex-Jaguars were out there just making huge plays from Fournette to with the little kick return in number 85. I can't think of Jadon Mickens. I mean, I'm looking like, look at all these ex-Jaguars. I mean, you look at Green Bay. What was it? We had the tight end. I can't even think his name
Mercedes
again.
Lewis.
Yep, Mercedes Lewis, and then Lazard. I'm like, we had all these guys on our roster, and for whatever reason, was decided that they were not good enough to play on this team anymore. Now they're playing for a right to play for the Super Bowl, and I'm like, thank God we got a whole new staff. Thank God we got a whole new general manager. That people maybe see things better than what we've been what we had previously seen, and that's not knocking on them as good people, but evaluators, they didn't do a great job on evaluating. Looking and then just all the ex talent. I mean, and then the AFC, we had another backup. Well, no, we didn't even talk about the backup quarterback for the Bucs who didn't get in the game. Another Jaguar, and then you had Kansas City had Henney. So I'm trying to get off that, but I just wanted to make that point. But like I said, kudos to the Tampa Bay defense. If they played like they did this in the Super Bowl that they did this week, they will be raising the trophy. I'm picking Kansas City, but I won't probably do an official pick until I get the whole. But I'm not. It won't surprise me to see Tampa raise that trophy. I think this probably be one of the most tightly contested Super Bowls once we see it. But we'll talk about that in next week's episode. I want to really get back into, a little bit of tribute to people. Another ex-Jaguar, Byron Leftwich, as being a great coordinator. Todd Bowles, and what's the other gentleman's name? What was his name? Keith Armstrong. Those gentlemen have earned their stripes to become coordinators, and now they're all be coordinating in the Super Bowl, which is another piece of Super Bowl history that's not happened, where you had 3 black coordinators on the same staff coaching in the Super Bowl. Just wanted to give a shout out to those gentlemen for making that. And I actually like to thank Bruce Arians, because and that Tampa Bay organization. Bruce Arians is probably one of the most open-minded people that you'll ever come across, and especially in sports. His diversity on his staff is a role model for every organization in no matter what business, whether it's sports or otherwise. I mean, you're talking about women playing a prominent role on the staff. We'll get to later. African Americans, Black, Latino, any type of thing. He's open. He don't care what your color. He don't care if you're Klingon, Borg. It doesn't matter. If you can do the job, he'll give you an opportunity if you're the most qualified. And he thinks you can help his staff. And kudos to Bruce Arians. He deserves this. I mean, he's been around the block. I think he's been the NFL Coach of the Year at least twice. And now he gets his shot as being the head coach in the Super Bowl. Good luck to him. I'm actually kind of rooting for him for that. We kind of rooted for Kansas City's coach for him to get his Super Bowl ring. So I hope Bruce gets his. I really like to see him get one. I know he said he wasn't going to ride off into the sunset if he did one, so that's good for him. But if he did ride off in the sunset, what better way to do it than do it that way? I know Tom's talking about Brady's talking about coming back too, so what better way for him to ride off if he was going to end his career that way? But also, I want to stop here a minute because I can't. We almost halfway through the show, and I didn't give props to our illustrious sponsors as Team Sportswear The Reg, Chic Car, and Watch Game Film. Our partners want to just give a shout out to those organizations. Chic Car, if you definitely need get a car out there. You can go through the auction process instead of going and having your things done. That's the normal difference. Your normal going to the dealership. Call them up on shecar.com. Also, Watch Game Film is one of our sponsors for the Women's Tackle Football League. I love them even better than the other film share company. You can get unlimited accounts for them for $100. You can share all your game film with anybody, even including people who are on Huddle, and I love them for that. And they're great sponsors. And Team Sports Weather Rec, once again, what can I say about TSD? You know, you need apparel, you need hats, you need uniforms, you need corporate apparel. Team Sports Weather Rec is the team to come to. Go to teamsportsweatherrec.com. Shout out to those good folks over there. So let's get into it. We're trying to keep our show in our producer's time frame. I wanted to get your discussions on the AFC because we didn't really discuss the AFC side of the championship. I will say that the Bills did everything in their power to try to win this game, but it was a case where they just met a team that just was better than them on that day. I thought the Bills defense was going to be one of the teams that have come up with a blueprint on how to shut Kansas City down, but they weren't able to do it. I mean, I think Kansas City pretty much, outside of a few hiccups, pretty much was able to control the game and do whatever they wanted to do offensively. And made enough big plays defensively on the defensive side to kind of make sure that the game was, to me, is never really in doubt after Buffalo jumped out ahead on them. I think it was kind of like last year's playoff with Kansas City. They let some people get a lead on them and then, kind of get overconfidence or whatever. And they said, oh, let's turn the gas on. We can play now. We gave them their 5 minutes of fame, and now we're going to take this game over and get on here to the Super Bowl. And I'll take your thoughts on that.
I won't stay on it too long, but the leading rusher in this game was Darrell Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to point out, having him on the field makes Patrick Mahomes. And I know you love your boy Hilaire. He's a good back. He's just not Williams. Sorry. Because if we look at the stats, I just want to point that out. Mahomes plays better when number 31 is standing next or behind him. I'm just saying. Just want to point out stats. I don't argue with them. I don't argue opinions. I argue facts. But
Clyde put 6 points on the board.
Okay, cool.
I know we that's our little rivalry right there for all those folks wondering what we're talking about. Yeah, I'm a big Clyde that was a left fan, and he's saying, hey, he's not that dude, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm not
saying he's not that dude. I'm just saying he's the dude because that position belongs to Williams on the Kansas City Chiefs team. But anyways, I won't stay on that too long. Here's the thing: Buffalo is a great team. I can't take anything away from the work that they have put together this season. The problem is, for outside of maybe 5 for that first quarter, they look like a team.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third, and fourth quarter, for a couple of drives there, it just looked like Josh Allen was trying to do it himself. And that's not a shot at Josh Allen. That's a shot at the other 10 people that were playing around him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't help your quarterback get out of the mud, that's what the team is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that in the way the offensive line got pushed around in the pocket. We saw that with their receivers. Their leading receiver was Beasley. Played on a fractured leg. And that doesn't tell you all you needed to know about how the Buffalo Bills did in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there. And we said last week about the weapons that Kansas City possesses.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell Williams, Edwards-Helaire, the Cheetah, Tyreek Hill, their tight end Kelsey. They have too many bullets for Buffalo's offense to continuously keep going 3 and out. And that's what happened. And, of course, this game, I think the score doesn't tell the entire game because it was 38-24. That's closer than what a lot of people thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you have I feel like that's a young team there in Buffalo. Should they hold that together they can pretty much take care of the AFC East for a substantial amount of years to come. But until you help your quarterback get out of the mud, that's where your team will be. If you do not protect that guy back there that's standing up, and they got into it a little bit there at the end of the game because quarterback made the decision to throw the ball at one of the players, and now your offensive line won't help. Don't fight then. You got a whole 60 minutes to fight then. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't wait till you have a reason to fight. The reason to fight is the referee blew the whistle. That's the reason right there. And that's what the Buffalo Bills got to work on. But not taking any away from the Kansas City Chiefs. They are the Kansas City Chiefs for a reason. They are the reigning Super Bowl champion and the returning AFC representative in the Super Bowl this year. It's going to be a good one down in Tampa.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be really exciting. But I do want to say one of the things, just to agree with you, Buffalo, I see them as, well, they already shown that they're here. They're one of the rising teams. It won't be surprising to me if they're in the AFC Championship game, playing for another chance to get back to the Super Bowl next year. I didn't quite understand what all that they saw in the leadership when they first brought him in, but I understand it now. The guy is, they do great job on personnel. They did a great job on picking their offensive and defensive coaches, and I just see a lot of big things for them. And even if Belichick is able to rebuild that team, they're going to have to deal with Buffalo from here on out because those guys seem to have their stuff together, and they're going to be here for the long haul. And as long as they can stay healthy and keep the same mindset and keep doing what they're doing in their front office, they're going to be a contending team for years to come. I'm sure with what we're looking at, the quarterback things that are going on around the league right now, there's going to be a big upheaval and different quarterbacks going to different places. Might change things a little bit, but I don't see Buffalo going anywhere. So, I know those Bills Mafia kind of down and distraught right now for not being able to make it to the Super Bowl, but they got a lot to look forward to as they go in the future. And as long as they can keep their guys healthy, I think they'll be okay. Let's go into our next topic. I want to talk about another little piece of history. I don't want it to be a blurt because, like I said, as the owner of the Women's Tackle Football League, I'm all things women's tackle football and all things women in the game of football. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Sarah Thomas, who's going to be the first female to officiate in the Super Bowl. That's a huge piece of history for women. They've come a long way in the sport, front office, scouting, coaching, but the officiating side of the game, a lot of times, women been officiating for years without any notoriety. They've been officiating in high school and other different areas. And now that you get a lady that's on the biggest stage at the biggest game of our sport, that deserves more than just a blurb in the history books. And I know a lot of people, she may not have a prominent position on the field, but the mere fact that you have to earn those spots in the Super Bowl. That they don't just choose, okay, you get to officiate the Super Bowl this year. You have to earn that. You have to acquire so many points in your regular games and in your playoff games to earn that spot. And the fact that Sarah Thomas earned that spot is deserves to be recognized and deserves to give her at least on this show her 2 or 3 minutes of fame and 5 minutes of saying, great job, congratulations. Look forward for you doing that and paving the way for more women to be able to do that, and not just in the NFL, but in all the major sports out there. I just want to make sure I give you a chance to comment on it.
Oh no, I love to see it, man. Love to see it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we wanted to just get that. Now I want to also one last little piece of recognition we wanted to talk about, and that's like we talked about Bruce Arians, what he's done. We wanted to talk about the 2 ladies that'll be on the staff of the Buccaneers, Lori Locust, and then Marvell. Please, oh Lord, I don't want to really get to her name, but it's kind of I think it's Maravi Jandafar. She's the strength. Yeah, I know. And I tried to practice it, and it's like, you know what?
It's Maral Jadafar.
Okay, see, thank you. I got my media guy here to get it right, but wanted to give them theirs. and Lori Locust, who's assistant defensive line coach. She's actually a position coach out there. And this is the second straight year we're going to have another lady coaching in the Super Bowl. So that goes to the progress. And I just want to encourage all those ladies are out there in these other leagues are sweating and working and getting their education that this is real for you. You can actually get out here. You can actually get a job at one of these leagues, in the league, in the college football. So keep your dreams going. Keep your work. Keep working hard. Keep learning the game. And one day your opportunity will come. Then these ladies are just an example of what can be done in America. I want to get you.
No, that just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I agree with you where we won't have to do this one day. Like you just talked about, with Hank Aaron, his greatness. We can just say so and so is coaching in this game, and it won't even be a blurb. Just like right now, we're not talking about that we have a black quarterback in the Super Bowl. Okay, it's old news now. You know what I mean? We're not talking about that we have black quarterbacks or we got black coordinators or we got black head coaches. One of these days, it will not. Well, we won't even put this in there. It's just be, hey, who's coaching? That way, because once you go and you say this person makes a mistake, we don't have to say it's a mistake because of their gender or their color or their race. They just made a mistake because they was out there coaching or they was out there doing officiating. So, but until we can get to that time, all I want to know to recognize the continued progress that our culture and our society is making toward better equality, whether it's gender, color, race, religion, whatever. We on the road to progress, and I just wanted to make sure that on our show we recognize that. Facts.
I can't argue with facts, man. Yeah, I told you.
Yeah, you can't argue with facts. So what I wanted to do was next week I wanted to talk about how many people that we got that the NFL awards coming up next week. And I've never really talked about it. I wanted to kind of get your take on what they consider their biggest one is the Man of the Year award. I don't remember who the Jaguars nominee was, but that'll be announced next week. Who's the NFL Man of the Year? I wanted to get your take on what you thought the significance of that award was, as far as the NFL and as far as just that award in general.
Well, the Jaguars nominee is Josh Lambo, the kicker. His foundation helps local homeless and children actually retain literacy and get better and help their families move forward. But as far as the Man of the Year as a whole, I think that, and I'm actually one of the voters here at iHeart for the Man of the Year award.
Okay.
But what the award does is, I think people and fans in general, and even media, especially media, forget from time to time that people who play sports are humans. How we forget that is interesting in itself. But the point that I'm making is it allows us for a small amount of time to acknowledge individuals who take away the armor that it is this gladiator sport and help us remember that we're humans, and that in that humanity they're trying to help others. And so, last year Calais Campbell was the recipient of the Man of the Year award. His foundation helped out local homeless people, not only here in Jacksonville, Florida, but in his hometown of Denver, Colorado, as well as where he went to college at the University of Miami. And so, and there's been numerous different ways to get it. It's just not helping homeless. Anquan Bolden won the award one year for a literacy program that he started with the Arizona Cardinals. And so what it does is acknowledges people who, with all of the fame and fortune that they have, take a moment to just help build another person up. And that's what the Man of the Year award is.
Mm-hmm. And I know you're saying take a moment, but from what I understand, these guys spend significant amount of their free time doing things and setting up these organizations, and not only necessarily just putting money into it, they're actually involved in these organizations, and they have a passion for what they're doing. They're just not doing it for recognition. They're doing it because they actually care about what they're doing.
Well, now when I say moment, the moment is us recognizing them.
Yeah.
The actual award itself is for hours and hours of work. First of all, to be nominated, you have to put in at least 300 volunteer hours or some substantial amount of work done into whatever program that you started. That's just the nomination for your team, and then to actually be nominated, your organization or whatever you're doing has to be reviewed by a 300 person committee. So yeah, it's not taken lightly, and the moment itself is just the recognition. Um, the actual doing and what is going on, and the actual act of giving for that man of the year is some tremendous, and it's a lot, and that's why it gets so much recognition. That's why those individuals get to wear that patch on their uniform, just because it's not football, it's just being human.
Hmm. Okay. And I just wanted to make sure that we spoke about that on this show because I've heard and talked to a couple of people about it, and I didn't even know what your involvement, what it is. And so, thank you for being one of those people that actually vote and actually evaluate those people, so the proper people can get the recognition. And to all 32 nominees of the NFL Man of the Year award, they all put in the work. Like you said, 300 some hours minimum to help people all over this country and their local communities and outside of their communities. So like I said, with all the stuff that went on in 2020 with the COVID and people getting things recognized, these people were still not just doing that, but they were doing the things in their local. So I wanted to make sure that we say thank you for those people and recognize them. And I thank you for actually being one of the people that vote to make sure that we recognize these type of people. And so I wanted our fans, that when people who watch our show and support our show, to understand what that award meant, because a lot of people really kind of just take it, oh, okay, man of the year, whatever. No, don't understand what that means, because they call it the Walter Payton Man of the Year, Ben. And Walter Payton was a great human being. He wasn't just a great football player. So when people hear that name, I want to understand the significance of them naming it after Walter Payton, the things that he did on and off the field, the man that he was on and off the field. He was a great man, great father, great husband, great player. And for them to name it after him, and those guys want that award and do all those hours, I think we needed to spend some time letting people know what it was all about. All righty. So we want to make sure that we one more time recognize my sponsors of Team Sportswear Direct, Watch Game Film, um, and She-Car, along with the Women's Tackle Football League and Laces Out Foundation. I wanted to take a minute to talk to people about our show, our organization Laces Out, that which what they're going to do is we help young ladies in the game of football, because a lot of times there's not a lot of people, they're teaching football but not teaching the specialties like kicking, punting, and specialty and long snapping. But one of the things that we're also passionate about is helping nonprofits, and helping our one that we really spend time with now is the DEMP Project here in Jacksonville, which is focusing on removing these victims and ladies, and whether they're late children, ladies, or men who are involved or enslaved in the sex trafficking. And what the DEMP Project is they go in and they pull these people out and they provide them safe haven and rehabilitation from sex trafficking and the sex trafficking trade that they've been victims of. So one of the things we use the Laces Out Foundation is to help that organization while helping the young women in the football and in the specialist area of football. So I wanted to shout out to all those guys, Todd Covington, Mike Hollis, Nick Gatto, and all the rest of our staff who work with tirelessly trying to get this going. And hopefully, I know we'll have this first camp at the end of March, the weekend of March 26th through March 28th. And I wanted to make sure that everybody goes to the Laces Out Foundation website, because it's a great organization trying to do a great thing in the local community. And hopefully we can branch out with other organizations to try to fight this sex trafficking epidemic that's not really getting enough enough information that's going on in there. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of kids being taken. There's a lot of young ladies being taken, and people don't know about the things that are going on. It's one of the silent scourges on our society, and Laces Out Foundation is doing their part to try to help out with that. And that was one to just kind of fishtail off of the Man of the Year award, because we're trying to do things to help things in our community and around the country to try to save some people that really need to be saved. And this is one of the ways we're going to do it. So with that being said, I want to just thank you for being on the show. Thank all of our fans for tuning in. Look forward to our Super Bowl preview next week. We're going to be talking about that and along with some other topics of the week. And just wanted to thank everybody for always supporting us. Once again, reach out to our sponsors, reach out to us. You can always please give us a like on our YouTube here. Always like, subscribe. We're going to be doing a Patreon so you can keep us things going, because it costs us with our producers to kind of help compensate some people in our staff for helping us do these things. And so wanted to wish you guys till next week. Want to thank you for tuning in. Look forward to seeing the show next week, and right here on the Terry McGriff Show. And you guys be blessed.